What is up, my Juice Crew people? We are back for episode number 5.
Yes, sir.
My name's D'Lo, along with my co-host Ty Landon, and we are the Juice Crew. Now let's kick it off. How we kick off every episode with a cheers, fellas. Let's get into it. Cheers. Up. Oh man, I'm excited for this episode, guys. We have a bunch of wide range, exciting topics to dive into for this episode. We got a little bit of NFL, NBA season coming up.
Big NBA.
We're ready to talk some basketball this week, finally. I know you guys have been waiting for some basketball, but I know we have a bunch of football fans out there, so we're going to start off today's episode with a little bit of football talk. So, I know the season has been exciting, but I want to ask you guys, who so far has been your early MVP candidate thus far this season?
Oh, you want to go first?
I guess I'll go first. I'm going with Mr. Josh Allen.
Ooh.
I'm going with Josh Allen. You know, just starting off the season, 4-1. 102 pass rating, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And the thing that I like about Josh Allen is his schedule and his division. Josh Allen, next 3 games, their 3 opponents is the Titans, the Jags, and my Colts.
With that cupcake schedule.
Can you guess what they're going to go in those 3 games? Can you guess? Probably. They're probably going to go 3-0. So I just like Josh handling his business. I don't think Miami's going to really get him. Maybe Bill Belichick might split with him just because, respect to Bill, I don't see the Jets really seeing Josh. So I'm going with Josh Allen for mine.
Whew. I think it's a good take. I think Josh Allen will certainly be up there. But I don't know. When I think about MVP, I like to think about what team, like the importance of you to your team. And I can't think about someone better than a Kyler Murray right now. This is a guy that's absolutely going out there and just making all the plays he has to make. He's doing things that we don't see done. Like when they played the Rams, you see him running out of like 3 defenders, scrambling to the sideline, throwing the ball 50, 60 yards down the field. And when you look at 113 passer rating, completing over 75% of his passes right now, 3 rushing touchdowns to go with his 10 passing touchdowns. Yes, he's turned the ball over, threw 4 interceptions and fumbled, but that's what you get with a player like Kyler Murray. He's gonna make big plays, and sometimes he's gonna pay for it. But the arm talent's there, the dynamicism in the running and the passing is there for him. And when you look at who he's playing with, they just brought in Zach Ertz from D'Lo's Eagles, to kind of beef up that tight end position, which I like as a good pickup. But to be honest, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, and you can't fail to mention DeAndre Hopkins. They got a lot to work with, and I'm forgetting Randall Moore. Yeah, Randall Moore is just like a little kind of scat back.
Chase Edmonds, they got Connor in the backfield.
Too many weapons.
Yep, you got the power, elusiveness. So, and when I look at Arizona's schedule, I like who they've played. They're really kind of yes, there's been some weak games, but they've won games in different ways, and I think I really like that. They've run the shootouts when they had the shootout, and then the tough game where you think that Kyler should have probably put up bigger numbers against Minnesota, they still find a way to win the game, and he doesn't turn the ball over in that game. So I like the way they're winning their games, and I really love Kyler Murray right now. Mm-hmm. He's just electric to watch.
I get that. Yeah, Kyler Murray is definitely is one of the most electric players in the league right now. I would say I said that from one of our previous episodes. I compared him to Trae Young. To kind of refute L's point of Josh Allen, though, to go back to his scheduling point, I think the schedule kind of hurts him in his MVP candidacy just because his schedule is such a cupcake schedule. I mean, they should win these games. They should win these games. Honestly, if they lose any of these games, I think right off the bat, you kind of pull his name from the MVP candidacy because they shouldn't lose any of these games. So far they've beaten up on the Dolphins, the Texans, the Chiefs, Washington football team, the Steelers. All of them have a below 500 record at a 7-18 combined record. Very weak schedule they've played so far. I think he is dynamic, but I think there's a handful of quarterbacks that are honestly above him in the MVP candidacy. You have Dak Prescott. Tom Brady's thrown 17 touchdown passes. I think K1 is above him, honestly. And then even getting into my quarterback, my early MVP candidate, Justin Herbert, who is right now is a top 5, who's top 5 in passing yards, over 1,500 yards passing. He has 13 touchdowns he's thrown for, 67% completion percentage. He's led his team to a 4-1 record while playing some of the toughest teams in the NFL so far. His only loss came to Dallas, who they barely lost to. They've won in a multitude of ways. When he had to shoot out against Cleveland, he was able to win that game. You know what I'm saying? Like he's had a tough schedule. He's beaten up on Washington, but then when the Raiders came in, he had to play came into town, and it looked like a road game. When they were playing in Charter Stadium, it looked like a road game. The Raiders fans were everywhere. At that time, they were undefeated. They took care of them. They took care of the Chiefs, who obviously last year's Super Bowl was in the Super Bowl. And also, I love the second-year narrative. You know, we've seen Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson both win the MVP in their sophomore seasons. I think the voters kind of roll with that narrative a lot of times. I think just Justin Herbert fits that MVP image that they're looking for. I think Justin Herbert has this kind of locked up so far in the season. Obviously, there's so many more games to go, and he still has to continue this high level performance. But I don't see him. I honestly don't see it trending downward. I see it trending upward. Justin Herbert, and he's got the weapons around to help him. I think Justin Herbert right now is my early MVP candidate.
And then just to go against your point with Josh Allen, I think with his schedule just makes it easier for him to have those numbers, have that top seed. And what I'm afraid with Justin Herbert and Kyler, I'm just keep going back to that division where you might have to see that Rams again, and they might not be so nice the second time as they were the first time. Not saying he can't get them, but it's a lot easier when you have to see the Jets and you have these boosted stats. And I just think with Josh Allen, I think it's just his time. You know, Mahomes kind of took a back seat this year. They kind of need that new king to go out and win that championship. I think Josh Allen's going to go and secure that job.
Here's the thing, I think. It's like when you think about like what Josh Allen and he means to Buffalo Bills franchise, very important. He's gonna be like I think he really has the potential to go down as one of their greats. I think the schedule view is a great way to look at it because I think you have the view of it like the weaker schedule allowing him to beefing his numbers up. Where D'Lo, I feel like you're looking at it as like, all right, prove it, prove it against somebody. Talent.
Yeah.
And so I think there's two different ways you could kind of tackle that. And I think that, like, when I think about someone like Kyler Murray, I think that he's going to make enough of the plays that you remember and win the games. He already started off with 5-0. This is a great story for them to tell if he wins that division. And that's the key, though. That's the key when we break down these three names. And I have a Justin Herbert jersey on for everybody who doesn't know.
Shout out Herbie.
Jay Herbert.
Josh Allen is probably most likely to win his division of these three. But if Justin Herbert or Kyler Murray win their division, I feel like it's a bigger statement than if the Buffalo Bills win their division.
Right. And Kyler Murray, I mean, right now, Kyler Murray's got the Cardinals rolling right now. My biggest fear with Kyler Murray, obviously, is with this style of play, I hope he just can stay healthy. I have him on my fantasy team. I love him, and I pray to God he stays healthy. He doesn't take too many big hits, but just the style that he does play, you know, all it takes is one.
Yeah.
All it takes is one hit to knock him out. So I pray he gets hurt, and I do think you point a pretty good point out there where these guys have a bit of a tougher division they need to win. So that'll, you know, the MVP voting will really be predicated off of if they can kind of take their division at the end of the day.
6 weeks. We're about to be in week 6 for the football season. Left. There's a lot of football left, and we see in these conversations, there's people that we probably aren't thinking about that might enter into this conversation. We might not be talking enough about Dak Prescott.
Tom Brady as well.
Playing around.
Tom Brady.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady won the MVP again this year, dude. He's leading the league in touchdowns and passing yards right now. The Bucs they've only lost one game so far. He's right there too, and Dak Prescott obviously is right there too. The way Dallas is playing, the way you can just see. I think the biggest case for Dak Prescott is from their record from last year to this year. You can see the difference how that team looks when he's playing and when he's not playing. It's a completely 360 flop over. So,
nothing could be said for that stat, by the way. I saw it when we were watching, I think, Red Zone or NFL. But Tom Brady, his passing yards and touchdowns from 20 years ago is like not even scratching the surface of what he's doing at 40-something years old.
It's insane. They show his Madden ratings from 20 years ago, and he's like better today.
Right,
it's like, How do you do that? It's crazy.
I call him wine. He's like red wine. He ages. He looks better with age. Like as the years go by, he just gets better and better.
Yep. Shout out to the NFC East for getting Tom Brady in the Super Bowls, though. We always remember those. Always remember those wins. Now we were talking early MVPs. Week 6, you guys heard us make a lot of predictions on this podcast and on our early episode. And frankly, we are shocked. I'm sure a lot of you are shocked about where we're going in this season. And so what we want to talk about is what has been the biggest surprise for all of us this far in the season. And I'm going to kick it off. Everybody got to be thinking about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought these guys were invincible.
Yeah.
I thought this team was invincible.
I thought Patty, was just good enough where you could put a high school defense and he could just outshoot that.
He could figure it out.
Yeah, he could just figure it out with the weapons he has. But it just goes to show you, football, everybody is very talented. You need that offense and you need that defense as well.
Yeah, no, I think that and the defense is a very important part. But here's the thing, because Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. But even if we think about and we could get to this defense, and I'm sure we'll all touch on it a little bit, but 6 interceptions, 7 turnovers altogether I'm looking at. Last year, he had 6 interceptions and 9 turnovers for the whole season. And so this is a guy that I think, he's going out there trying to play a little bit of a hero ball because he knows what his defense doesn't have, and he's trying to overcompensate. And then you got, even if you think about the skill players, Kelsey and Hill, very, explosive, and I think they're doing their job this year. But, Tyreek Hill had a tip pick. I think Travis Kelsey might have had one early in the season. So there's things that they could sharpen up. And then the other weapons, I just feel like haven't stepped up. CEH has had a game, but he's fumbling the football. And so,
now he's on the IR.
Yep. And so, I think the pieces around him and in the offense are starting to get a little bit more questions than they've had historically. And we all know that the defense has been. And so, if I had to think of kind of the question for you guys, and I really want to get your perspective, what does Kansas City do if they can't make the big play and they can't make the big play consistency? Because now we're seeing the 2 teams, they're leaving the 2 safeties over the top, and they're saying, beat us with the medium, beat us with the short game, take your time, and they could do it, but how willing are they to do it?
I mean, they need to go make a move. I mean, I thought Stephon Gilmore would have been a huge pickup for them. They need to make some type of move to beef up that defense. And to your point on Patty's turnovers, man, I mean, I don't even blame him for some of these turnovers. I'd say he's got about 2 or 3, maybe even 4 of them, where his receivers are tipping the ball up in the air and not catching the ball, and the other team's coming down with it. So it's I feel like Patrick, he definitely is pressing. He's doing as much as he can to try to get his team these wins. It's been tough on him, but I think he's doing all he can. The defense has really let them down, man. The defense, I've been really disappointed. Usually in years past, they've been able, like you said, to make that big play at the end of the day. They're just not making that big play, They need to make a move to go out and get somebody to beef up that defense. But to my point, in my point of view, my biggest surprise, I would have to say, would be the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens are 4-1 right now. I don't think many people coming into the season after seeing all the injuries. All the injuries.
It's crazy.
They have 18 players on the IR right now currently. They have 3 of their starting running backs on the IR. Now, granted, Lamar Jackson is the best running back on that team regardless. Yeah. So I guess that they have that area covered, even though they lost 3 starting running backs. But their best corner is out on the IR. And their rookie wideout that they drafted, Davenport.
Yep.
He's out. He's out on the IR now. So they're dealing with so many injuries especially on the offensive and defensive side, for that matter. For them to be 4-1 right now, and the way they've won games too, they've won a lot of close games. They're really battle tested. They just found ways to win. We go back to that Detroit game where they could have lost. And honestly, if the ref did his job and called called delay a game, they would have ended up losing that game anyway. But they find ways to win. They find ways to win. Justin Tucker might should get some MVP voting. I know we were looking this up last night, Ty, on some former MVPs. There was a kicker one kicker way back in the day.
It was a Bills kicker, Bills or Browns. I forgot his name. I think it was in 67 or something.
67, a kicker won the MVP. Right now, Justin Tucker might get an MVP vote here or there too. Lamar Jackson is playing out of his mind. Yep. So far, I definitely think, and also they've hurdled the trap game too. That Detroit game was the trap game, by the way. Yeah. For those who don't know, the trap game is a game that you play when you play a lesser opponent, but it's just got that trap feel to it where they're looking like they're looking like they're gonna win at the end of the day. They look like they're gonna upset the favorite. They were able to hurdle that trap game by kicking that field goal to win the game against Detroit at Detroit. So I just think the Ravens has been honestly the biggest surprise so far this NFL season.
Just to speak on your point with Lamar, I just feel like with all these injuries, it just allowed him to be free in himself and kind of just take over in his college days. Like, it's looking like Louisville out there, the way he's scrambling, he's throwing sometimes, he's here, he's there, he's juking, he's moving. And I think with Lamar, he has that Derrick Henry effect of just in that fourth quarter, when you're tired, it's tough to tackle Derrick Henry. And when I was watching that Colts game, in the first half, we were really getting to him on the line. Sacking him, getting him to 3 and outs and all that kind of stuff. And then in the fourth quarter, we just didn't have any more juice to really run around with him. So now he's extending plays. Hollywood's on the backside, burning corners. So, Lamar is playing like a superhero right now. And then with Patty Mahomes, I just feel like that mentality almost has that Aaron Rodgers throwback where if I don't put up 6, I'm getting 6 put up against me. It's like, I have to make it. I have to score 6 or I have 6 going against me. So I know that's not easy playing with that on your mind. But for my surprise, it's a personal surprise. I'm going to just let one of those off before I get into it. Can we talk about the Colts?
Hold on. Before you get into the Colts, I gotta interject. Let me help. Because I feel like I'm being a bad, I'm being a bad co-host. I'm being a bad friend. Like, you guys think I wore this Justin Herbert jersey because necessarily I wanted to come on here and wear a Justin Herbert jersey? Like, I can't. I talked about it, because I can't put a New York Giants items on anymore. It's hard for me. So this is me, L. I'm trying to help you out here. We got off to a bad foot on this podcast. I feel like we tried, we got into our Colts, Giants, and don't hang me on my head, but the New York Football Giants. And I think you guys are way better than us. Let's put that on the record. I think you guys are way better than us for sure. But at some point, Al, I think you just got to come around to just watch from behind the scenes.
Landon, I warned you back in episode 2. I warned you. Eagles fan warns Colts fan of Carson Wentz.
We'll make some money together. Deal with what you thinking.
Look, I don't hate the pick, but as an Eagles fan, as someone who just let this man Carson Wentz go, you are warned here. I'm giving you a warning right now.
We can't time travel to 2017, D-Lo?
That's only 1 year. I had to warn you.
It's just so pretty much. My viewers, can you help me? Explain this? Somebody explain this to me. 11-5 last year. We're playing on the road. We're a few plays away from beating Buffalo. Buffalo goes on to the championship game. We're a few plays. Pittman doesn't drop that end zone touchdown. Granted, we convert on a couple drives here and there, make a field goal, win the game. So, from that team, we keep everybody, right? Or for the most part. We get rid of an overage quarterback with like 13 kids. Get rid of it. I thought that was okay. So we bring in a new quarterback.
He got a football team himself in his house.
Exactly. Yeah, he has a whole. He can run 5s at the park with all his kids. But so you have, you have Carson Wentz, won the MVP. Being reunited with familiar faces and the coaching staff. It's just like, what happened? It's like what. I watched the games and Carson. He's turning the ball over. He's been having some clean games. It's not been enough to beat the teams we've been playing. And also my defense. Usually my Colts defense, they hold your boys down. But every single game except the Dolphins, we've given up over 25 points.
Yeah.
And whenever, the one time we gave under 20 points, we won. My defense, granted, we are playing Russ with DK, Lockett. We're playing the Hollywood Rams. We're playing Derrick Henry and all that. But my defense, if we're trying to be good, we're trying to be a playoff team, even though that might seem like a long shot now. We can't be giving up more than 25 points and expect Carson Wentz being new in that offense, not finishing his drives to win the game.
And they're just depleted of weapons. Like
Yeah,
there's no real like big standout name on wide receiver. Like T.Y. Hilton's been out this whole time, and he's kind of on the older side of things.
Yeah.
They have Michael Pittman, who's a good receiver, but is he a true number one really? Zach Pascal, like
all three.
I mean, honestly, they have Jonathan Taylor, and I like Naheem Hines as a pass catcher out of there, but they just really don't have too many weapons on that offensive side.
We needed Stephon. Yeah,
Stephon.
I think against the Ravens, we had like 3 out of our 4 starting secondaries hurt, and we just let I don't want to say we let Stephon go to the Panthers, but we should have easily,
We got a will and deal.
Every receiver we played against seemed like somebody's been going crazy every week. Stephon, was looking for a team. He should have hopped over to Indy, but.
Yeah. No, I think the one thing that you guys have going for us when I think about like you have the Jacksonville Jaguars and Houston Texans in your division, and so it's really just you and the Titans. And so when I think about that situation, it's not like you're in the NFC East like when me and D'Lo having to deal with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys right now. Like if we look at trying to win our division, we're not looking at that. You guys still have a chance.
That's the crazy thing. That division is so cupcaked up right now. They still have a chance to really win that division. If they beat Tennessee the next time they see them, they have a legit chance to still win the division.
Because I hate Tennessee. I don't know. It's something about the color. I'm sorry if you're a Tennessee fan at home. I doubt there's any Tennessee fans in Jersey, but I hate those guys.
Yeah, no. Yeah, definitely some big surprises in NFL. We're gonna check back in. Hopefully, some point later in the season and see how we're looking on these, MVP candidate predictions. Hopefully the Chiefs turn it around. Let's see what the Colts do. And Ravens. One thing I didn't mention about the Ravens, I just love the way Lamar Jackson's throwing the football and how he's proven these doubters and haters wrong. Because I always thought he had arm talent.
He's not running back.
He just got to stop fumbling. Oh my God, he's come real close from killing them on a couple of these fumbles that he's got lucky with. But other than that, he's been playing out of his mind.
You know what time it is? It's really we got to really start getting to this NBA season. Like
to some hoops.
That's what we do. And we're gonna talk a lot of different sports. We're gonna try to get into as many as possible, even with our guests. We're gonna bring in people from all different sports. But when you talk about the Juice Crew, and when you think about the Juice Crew, you're always gonna think about basketball being home. So we're about to come home for you guys for the next couple podcast episodes. For a couple segments, we're definitely gonna be finding ways to squeeze some NBA in there. But before we get into that, we have to read for you guys. This episode is sponsored and brought to you by the Villa. The Villa is a sneaker, streetwear, and vintage clothing store brand located in Ridgewood, New Jersey. The Villa carries the most exclusive, sought-after sneakers and clothing on the market, from Jordans, Dunks, V-Lone, Essentials, and so much more. The Villa provides the hottest items at the best prices. Whether you're from America or across the world, the Villa ships worldwide, giving people from all over the chance to get their hands on the most popular brands and fashion items. The Villa gets new inventory every day, so don't miss out, and follow them on Instagram at @bythevilla. That's BUY the Villa, and check out their website at www.bythevilla.com and order from wherever in the world. The link will be in the description below for you guys, and go check them out.
Don't worry, Ty. That'll get easier as time comes. It's our first read. People, give him a break. Give him a break. He's gonna get better at this. We're good. We're good over here.
Thank you. I appreciate the support. You always need to pick up from the co-hosts. You give me a couple times, we're gonna get this read right. But we definitely appreciate By the Villa for the sponsor, and
again, go check out the previous episode where we announced the sponsorship, and you get to see our interview with Charlie as well.
Yep. Speaking of that interview, Charlie had, kind of a hot take on the podcast when he was on
right now, but I'm cutting Kyrie.
Oh, yeah, you gotta get the hell out of my house, bro. You get the hell out of here, bro.
You know why?
Kyrie Irving. That's why I'm out here wearing this jersey. If y'all didn't check it out, go check it out. But I had to bring this out for the day.
Yeah, but on that episode, and it was like, so we introduced a new segment, which you guys will be hearing on all our interviews, called Start, Cut, and Bench. And we had a few options for Charlie, and we sent the way it works, so you guys know, for our guests, we send them over a list that we could go through so they could kind of prepare. We don't want them to come on off guard and throw a crazy tough start, cut, bench. And Charlie actually came on this podcast, and he reached for one that we weren't going to go into, and he said, no, I want this one.
Yeah.
And that start, cut, bench was Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, and help me with the last one. Who was the last player on that?
Russell Westbrook.
And he didn't even want to get in the starting bench, but he just said off the rip, he's cutting Kyrie Irving.
Rip.
Now, one thing we have to say is, judging by what's happened since that, it's not looking like a terrible take because Kyrie, as we all know to this point, will not start the season. And that's what we want to get into a little bit to start this NBA segment for you guys. And so the main question is, do we expect Kyrie Irving to first play this season? And will that playing be in Brooklyn, which I hope it better be. And I hope all the Jersey fans definitely hope it'll be in Jersey.
Yeah. I mean, Kyrie Irving is one of my favorite players. I mean, I feel like I have a little bit of an emotional connection to it with him being from Jersey. You know, I love to support guys from the area and things of that nature. And now he's playing in Brooklyn, which obviously elevates that love I think I have for him. But to be honest, I don't expect him to play this season unless New York lifts their vaccine mandate for indoor sporting events for performers or attendees. I don't expect him to play because I really think Kyrie has dug in on his stance that he's not going to fold under any type of pressure. He's not going to be persuaded into anything to get this vaccine. I think he's from Jersey. He's a truly stubborn, hard-headed dude that's not going to be able to easily be taken off of his stance. So when he takes a stance, he's going to ride with that. Yep. And I feel like, you know, I'm sure most of you guys have seen the IG Live and things of that nature. You know, he came out and articulated himself pretty well, I thought. I think his reasoning for not playing is honestly valid, though. I mean, he came into this season not expecting any type of mandate to be there. The city put this mandate in effect. I think it was August 17th. New York officially put this mandate out there. So the whole summer as he's working out, you know, he's not really expected to get vaccinated at the end of the day. He's not expecting, hey, I might lose my job because I'm not getting vaccinated. You know, personally, I think you should have the choice to get vaccinated to play in these cities. It is kind of a shame that we're not going to be able to see Kyrie, one of the most electric players in the NBA. Probably he's box office. He's my favorite player to watch in the entire NBA. And I think most people can speak on that. So it's just a shame to me that he's not going to be, I don't think he'll be able to participate unless he gets the vaccine. You know, what do you think about that, Landon? Do you expect Kyrie to play this season at all?
So, like you said, I totally agree that, you know, Kyrie is a firm believer in, you know, what he stands for. And I believe it's going to take a lot to move him off his point. So with that being said, it's tough. I don't think he'll play. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded, believe it or not. You know, because you have to respect his decision. But then on the flip side of things, I believe Kyrie has to respect the Nets' decision. Like, hey, we've sold out for KD and Kyrie. You know, if we don't get a championship with KD and Kyrie, you know, what did we do all this for? Mm-hmm. So if Kyrie's holding out and he's not able to play, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved for like a Dame or somebody crazier just to make sure that when they have KD and Harden that, you know, they get their championship. So I don't know.
The only tough thing I will say about that is now finding a deal for them. Yeah. So trying to find a deal, because we all know Kyrie's, you know, past histories on other teams. I don't know if anybody will be willing. I know if I was Portland, I'm not giving up nothing big for him. Like, if I'm another owner or another GM on another team, what am I exactly giving up for Kyrie? Like I'm not giving up nothing
Ben Simmons,
huge.
Pretty much like same thing. Like with Ben Simmons, what do you really get for him now?
And even Philly came out and said they wouldn't, they wouldn't really look into trading for Kyrie. Like they wouldn't even explore that avenue. So they don't even want to trade their problem for the Nets problem. So it's like who in the market really would be out there for Kyrie Irving at the end of the day?
Yeah, no, the way I look at it is I think he does play. I do think it's in a Nets uniform. And I know all these restrictions and protocols are out there, and we'll have to see what happens. And this is not me saying, like, I know for sure Kyrie's going to get vaccinated. I wish I had that answer. I'm pretty sure I would have a more valuable seat in the media world if I did have the answer. I would make sure we would all be sitting in a different spot because I don't go nowhere without my boys, but we'd all be sitting somewhere else. But I don't know if he gets it or doesn't get it. I think he will. I think he, and what I heard on the IG Live, D-Lo, is it sounded like he was thinking it through. And I think that right now it just seems a very intense story, and there's a lot of pressure, like, or they're trying to external pressure they're trying to put on Kyrie because of the timeline of the season starts next week. And so, you know, it's for me. As a Kyrie fan, as a Nets fan, I've seen him miss games, and you know, you're not in love with it. And thankfully, we have a roster where we could afford a Kyrie. Like, not many teams are in a situation where they could afford their number two, three best player, you know, not being there. And so I think that he'll miss a good amount of games, as we've always seen Kyrie do. But I think at some point, either, you know, early, or like later in the season, or like that middle of the season, that, you know, he'll come around to, you know, have done his research, figured out the answer to his questions, and he would either get the vaccine or at least give us a very clear stance on why he's never going to get the vaccine after he gets that time. So I want to give Kyrie that time to do that. To your point, I completely agree. He did come in with expectations, but like these protocols not being in play. But listen to the IG Live. The most thing that stuck with me the most is like, he's very passionate about playing this game. He really wants to play the game.
And then what I hate about this situation too is, you know, people are trying to give him like that diva narrative and almost like that Kanye narrative. But if you take a step away from like that situation, just look at Kyrie as a person. You know, he's a genuinely just a good dude. Obviously, don't know him, but just his actions in the community, like WNBA, feeding homeless people, all that, just affecting his community. You know, don't let his stance on COVID affect, you know, what he actually does for the community.
And going back to that, one quote he had is, "Be aware of what is being said." He said that in his IG Live. Be aware of what is being said. He never said, him himself personally, never said he was ready to retire or walk away from the game. And he never said he was anti-vax. He said he wanted to draw some more information before he was ready to ultimately get the vaccine. You know, he feels that we have a right as an American society to do whatever we like with our bodies at the end of the day. Now, obviously, when you work for, you know, some of these private entities and things of that nature, you know, they can make rules and say that, hey, you have to be vaccinated to come to work. Which obviously I agree with that. I feel like, you know, if these entities want to put that vaccine mandate in, by all means. But for his employer to not even have a vaccine mandate, thankfully for the players union, but his employer doesn't have the vaccine mandate. It's literally only because of the city that he plays in. And the city's been kind of wishy-washy. I feel like one foot in the door, 1 foot out, because the rule states that you only need to have one vaccine shot. But studies have shown that, you know, having two is clearly way more effective. So, like, what's the point then if you're only going to get one shot? So if he gets the one shot, then he's all right to play now. Like, all of a sudden, that really never made any sense to me at the end of the day. And he went the whole season last year playing without a vaccine at the end of the day. Obviously, things have changed since then, but the vaccine was out for part of the season, and there was no issue. I don't think he ever had COVID or was ever in COVID protocols, things of that nature, you know. I feel like, I don't know. To me, it's a lot of pressure going into one individual player. I feel like he does get a lot of heat from the media, just because it's Kyrie Irving at the end of the day now. Yeah. So, I mean.
Yeah, no, I think that the one thing, and this last thing I kind of want to say on it, that, like, Kyrie has, like, the great friend in Kevin Durant that is in Brooklyn with them. But, like, if you think of, like, you're just looking at the NBA broadly, and, like, think about when Kyrie, like, came to the league, he gravitated towards someone, and rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. But, like, that seemed like that was the one kind of mentor or voice that, like, always resonated with Kyrie. And I'm not saying Kobe would be here, like, yeah, Kobe would influence his decision on this vaccine or not. But over the course of, like, the last year or two, where the media is painting these narratives and, like, everybody has these, like, strong views on Kyrie, I think that if there's one player to really just kind of give him that advice and that mentor figure as it comes to dealing with the media, as it comes to being a superstar in this league, I really think Kobe Bryant could have helped him in that regard. And so, like, that's one perspective that I would, like, kind of think, like, what do you guys think that if Kobe Bryant was still here, God rest his soul, but, like, what impact would he have on Kyrie Irving?
I mean, Kobe, you know, he's seen his days of being crucified by the media, you know, with his stuff that he had going on. So he could have definitely talked to Kyrie and maybe, I don't want to say accept the villain role, you know. I don't want to really say that because that's kind of like a bad phrase, but almost, you know, just give him support. Just be there for him. Kobe definitely would. And Kobe is just somebody Kyrie had a lot of respect for, because Kyrie respects the killers. You know, people who are, you know, locked in, offensive juggernauts and who wanted to kill. So I think Kobe just being there for him maybe could have given him some big brother advice. You know, you never know what it could have done for Kyrie.
Yeah, I think Kobe would have been a huge. I mean, I think he would have definitely helped. He definitely would have been a mentor to him, and obviously would have been a quick phone call away to kind of have some of those conversations to help him through this. But ultimately, I think Kyrie is his own man. I think he is strong on a lot of his stances, and I think at the end of the day, you know, would Kobe have gotten it? Probably, because he was so locked in, dialed into basketball. I think Kyrie, at the end of the day, is his own man, though, and he ultimately will make his own decisions at the end of the day. He's not going to let anybody kind of sway him one way or another. And just kind of to circle back to, I know a lot of people have some confusion because Kyrie can't play in MSG or in the Barclays Center, but he'd be able to play in road games. Now, the Nets have come out and said that, you know, until you're a full-time participant, there will be no participating, no practice, no nothing. I had to do a little bit of digging for this, but I kind of found, you know, a small quote and the reasoning behind all of that. So it's from Anthony Slater of The Athletic. He said because they are not employees of a company that is under the city's vaccine mandate limits, you know, the rules don't currently apply to them. So anybody coming from other cities, so like let's take Andrew Wiggins for instance, before he got vaccinated, or we'll take Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal can come to New York and play. Like they don't have an issue with that because he doesn't play for the Brooklyn Nets, who are under that New York umbrella of having to, you know, go through that vaccine mandate. I know a lot of people have had that question, and it really hasn't been cleared up by anybody. You know, I had to do some real digging, honestly, for this quote. It took me a little while. So because it's them 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. Like it's a real wishy-washy type topic, which is another reason why I think Kyrie is strongly dug in on his stance, because there's no clear clarification on, you know, what exactly the rule is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, to your point, you know, you say one thing and do another. You know, you tell Kyrie he can't play in the home games, but then, you know, you got Brad Beal coming through in New York. You know,
he can play in all his home games.
Yeah, from Kyrie's perspective, he's, you know, like, what's the difference between me and him other than we playing, you know,
two different cities,
spots? Yeah. So,
yeah, no, it's a lot to unpack. I think we all know that we'd love to see Kyrie on the basketball court. I think he's, you know, if not the best, like one of the best, like he's definitely one of the best shows in basketball, if not the best show in basketball. Like me, Kevin Durant fan, but having both of them on the court and James Harden, like I just need to see it. I need to see all three together. I haven't gotten to see it enough. And boy, talk about a season ticket holder. Definitely would want to see some more Kyrie. But thinking about the off season, what happened, who didn't make moves, who made moves. I'm going to keep it right with the Nets for my take on this one. I think the Nets were a huge winner of this offseason. Like, a huge winner of this offseason. I think that, you know, outside of this Kyrie drama going on, they got Patty Mills, which I think was a great addition. This is a veteran. He's been there and he's won it, you know, being under playing in a pop system. Like, you know, I think that he's I love Patty Mills. Going to make shots.
If Kyrie's not going to play or he's sitting out,
that pick was huge for him. And the drafting of Cam Thomas now, that also becomes, they're going to lose one of their top scorers. They need someone to go in there and get some buckets.
That three, the Carter, Cam Thomas, Patty Mills, that's a good three to have.
Yep. And then we think about, you know, the front court and bigs. Like, we lost Jared Allen, obviously, to the Cavs last season. Definitely didn't really have a role for DeAndre Jordan. You know, he's really good friends with the guys on the team there. Got rid of that contract, and then we get Aldridge to come back with a Paul Millsap. So I definitely think we address that front court, you know, which makes us kind of more holistic. And I think we get stronger defensively, albeit, you know, we do have to think about how much these guys are going to play. But, you know, you got to assume that, like, maybe James Harden won't be able to play every game. Patty Mills might not be playing all the games. And so when you think about those players that can plug and play and start any given game, I like the names of a Javon Carter or James Johnson, you know, to kind of come in there to defense, whether that's 7th, 8th man off the bench, just to get that extra on-ball defender. And then talk about our draft. I don't know if you guys watch the Summer League, and I know it's just the Summer League in preseason, but Cam Thomas looks legit.
Ever since Oak Hill when he was with Cole Anthony, bro. Think about that. How many damn backcourts and like crazy backcourts
Oak Hill has,
you know?
Yeah. No, I can't, bro. Brandon Jennings played at Oak Hill. Cole Anthony was at Oak Hill.
KD was at Oak
Hill.
Tyler Lawson was at Oak Hill. Melo.
The list goes on and on, man. The list goes on and on.
Certified.
You're at Oak Hill.
The thing is, like, Oak Hill is like, it's in Virginia. I think it's like in like in the foreign lands, you get no service. That's probably why they're so damn good. They have that small,
They locked in over there, bro.
They have that small gyms, little boarding school. I think it's like the boys can't even talk to the girls really like that. You know, they really stay to each other. So that might be the secret sauce to why.
I mean, Ty, I love that. I love what the Nets did this offseason. I mean, Patty Mills was probably one of the biggest pickups I think people are sleeping on. He's got championship pedigree. He knows what to do when it's crunch time. I'll leave it at that. It comes from the Spurs organization. But honestly, my biggest winner, and I'm going to go take it from one of L's teams. I'm not exactly the team, although I think the team made a huge jump as well, this team. But I'm going to go to a specific player, and I'm going to point to Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo Ball getting himself out of New Orleans could have been the best thing for his career, honestly. For one, he's going to a team now with realistic playoff expectations. You know, New Orleans had a pretty decent team last year, but I'm not a big fan of Brandon Ingram. I don't think he can be a 1 or a 2 on a playoff team, really, to be honest with you. Zion has been in and out of the lineup, hurt a lot. So Zoe is out.
He looks a little bigger, too.
He does look a little bigger because he's not – I mean, he had surgery, so he's never playing basketball, I feel like. He's always hurt right now. And to the point of last year where Stan Van Gundy was trying to kind of take the ball out of Zoe's hands. You know, Zoe kind of mentioned this in a press conference, but he's going back to playing his traditional point guard spot. You know, last year they tried to integrate Zion as a point guard, which I really didn't understand. I mean, I guess Zion is pretty good with the ball in his hands, but you have Lonzo Ball, who's a traditional, true point guard. Exactly. And just watching from the preseason, he looks very comfortable. He looks like he's catching the ball in rhythm. He's letting it fly from 3 like nothing now. He's got the pieces around him to succeed. You know, he's gonna be throwing lobs to Zach LaVine. Oh, yeah. He's got a big man to run a pick and roll, feed the post with. I think Lonzo Ball has been the biggest winner of the offseason thus far.
So, hey, I can't argue with that point as a fellow Bulls fan. But before we get to that, just the Nets, you know, I like the guard play with that little 3, like you said, when say if Harden goes down maybe a night or 2 or KD, you still have scoring and defense that could fill you in those Wednesday nights when you're playing against the Cavs and Quicken Loans. You know, you got guys who could fill that void and, you know, maybe steal you a couple wins as well. But winner for me, I would have to say Giannis working out with Sean Livingston on that mid-range. If he can get that down consistently.
I forgot about Sean Livingston, that damn mid-range.
That damn mid-range. It kind of looks, the way Giannis was shooting it, I could see a little bit of that Sean Livingston, like long release kind of.
It's perfect for him.
Hitting back rim good.
Or even the post up where he gets a little turnaround mid-range. I know Sean Livingston was big on that as well.
Yeah, granted the Bucks might have not added anybody. I think they really just lost people. But if Giannis can cover that gap, it's weird. It's like they lost people, but if Giannis can cover that jump shot gap, it's almost like they've gotten better. If that makes sense. Right. You know, that's Giannis. I mean, he got that weight off his shoulder, getting that championship. I think he's due for it was, you know, goes without saying it was due for a scary season, but I think it's going to be a very, very scary season for Giannis. I'm
interested to see how he plays the season now that weight is kind of lifted off. I mean, I feel like he never played with a huge weight on his shoulder because he still was very young, but there obviously was some pressure there to win and some outside noise from before when his contract was coming up to his extension to leave, to go to a better championship situation. So I'm interested to see now how he played. Like, we see a lot of guys take their game to a whole nother level once they finally capture that championship. I mean, look at LeBron James. Since he won that first one, it's been on and popping ever since.
It's like you cracked the code. Yeah. You know, you figured it out. You kind of now you can take those experiences you had against Phoenix and use them for as many playoff series as you need.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yep. No, I think that, you know, there's a lot to be excited for. This is like, and I was telling you, I think D'Lo, Lynn, and I, we've had these conversations, but I think this is like, you don't know what's going to happen this season. I think we have an idea. Everybody wants Nets, Lakers, and on paper, that's what it should be, but you cannot sleep on one of these teams this year, and I think a lot of teams are going to make some noise. But think about the flip side. You know, who really just kind of kicked it this offseason? Who really didn't get anything done, didn't really make any plays to get better, and probably will continue to get worse because they didn't do anything this offseason?
I mean, this one was easy for me. The Portland Trailblazers. Good God. What did you do? Did y'all just... Yeah,
no, it's not Dame time. Like not Dame time in Portland.
Like, there's been all this talk that Dame might want to leave and things of that nature, and they did nothing to try to keep him there. They signed Norman Powell. That was it. 4-year, $90 million. That was it. They lost Carmelo Anthony. Like, they made no moves. They literally did nothing. They had the same team last year, and teams in the West are getting stronger. They're not gonna make the playoffs this year. I think this is the first year Dame is gonna miss out on the playoffs because it's Dame and CJ. Did they lose? I have to fact check this one, but they might have lost Nurkic too, or Enes Kanter.
They lost Kanter, I believe.
They lost Kanter.
Nurkic is still there.
So like, who is on this team anymore? Like this, they made no moves whatsoever. Right. And Dame, don't be surprised if Dame ends up walking. I'm sorry, like Dame, get out of there, bro. Yeah. You need to get out of there. If you want to win, leave. Because I don't think this team's making the playoffs this year, to be honest.
Exactly. You got like Chauncey Billups, new coach in the system, and then it's just Dame. I felt like it's just been year after year. He's just like, please, guys, can I have some help? And
real quick, too, and that's another thing, putting another black coach in a terrible situation. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I mean, man, they're going to pin it on him. He's going to get fired in 2-3 years, all because they didn't put a team around him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, God forbid Dame walks under him, too. Now, Chauncey's the reason why Dame walked, yada, yada, yada. So at least you heard it here first. Get ready for those narratives. But I just feel like Dame is, every year, he's like, can I have some help, please?
No.
And they're like,
no. That's what the front office says. Nah.
They say, they're like, okay, we'll get you Norman Powell, we'll get you a nice little Larry Nance, we'll get Cody Zeller. Like,
it's nasty.
Like,
it's nasty.
These guys, you know, you got Ben. They got Ben McLemore from the Lakers. They got Dennis Smith Jr. You know,
whoa, like, the Knicks cut him. The Knicks cut him, bro.
If you're Dame, like, come on, you seeing all these other teams who are little piece away. Like, I wouldn't be mad if he went to New York, went to the Knicks. I mean, now Kemba took that, you know, he rocking over there now. But if he kind of beat Kemba there, that would have been a good look for him. But
hey, they can still get him. Hey, Kemba could go to the bench. They're not paying Kemba nothing. Kemba making a bench salary right now. They can very much have him come over.
You can go to Portland.
Who do you got? Who do you got as your loser?
I have to just talk about Ben Simmons and just the whole just garbage, for lack of a word, the shit show that's just been going on, just trying to get rid of him.
Yeah.
You know, you have just starting off, you have Ben not shooting in the fourth quarter. That's your second best player. That's just not acceptable. He is an important piece of their offense as a main facilitator, getting everybody going. Just as a basketball player, you have to be aggressive at all times. Just keep defenses honest. I know there's certain times where you might not shoot the best percentage, but hey, I gotta look aggressive because they have to account for all 5 people on the court. And when you're being passive like that, you know, you're playing 4-on-5, and now they can't really get rid of him. Doc's finding information about him through Woj. Joel Embiid is like, bro, we see the open gym workouts. We see you shooting a million jumpers off the screen and roll. Just do that in the game. I know it's easier said than done, but bro, we're starting to give up. You know, you're not a rookie anymore. Right. You know.
100%. My quick loser, and then we're going to get into some quick takes to finish this for you guys. But my quick loser, my man Dennis Schroeder, man. Oh my gosh. I wish I could be in a position to just kind of like throw away like $10+ million. I'm like, I'll get it back. But Dennis Schroeder, not only for money aside, just leaves a playoff contender, leaves Bron. Like, I think that if I had to bet on a chance to put the ring on my finger, I might bet that. Right. I'll go do that with Bron.
For the Lakers, like in Los Angeles.
Of all places, bro. And you were going to make more money.
Yeah.
Like, you lost out on a bag.
I don't care if it's the Shanghai Sharks, bro. You give me, like, what was that, like 70 mil or something?
Exactly.
Bro, give me 70 mil, bro. No questions asked. See you at practice tomorrow.
I've just never seen a player leave a championship contender to go make less money. Like, usually when they leave a championship contender, it's to go make more money.
Yeah.
He left to make less.
I think it was 4 years, $84 million that the Lakers are offering him, by the way. 4 years, $84 million.
Schroeder just fumbled the bag. I know you're already rich. I know people saying, he makes millions. You lost the bag. Like, you need to find, I don't know if it was you or your agent, holler at me, because I could have got you more money. Realistically.
Quick question. So now, if Dennis Schroeder signs that deal, right, he secures his bag for the Lakers, what do you think changes? You know, like, that takes away their money.
I don't know if they extend out THT, like, or at least right away.
They might not make
like
the trade for Russ either. Possibly.
Probably.
Yeah. They might not. So
they probably going. I remember there was rumors they were going out to get Buddy Hield in the deal instead. So they might have went and got that deal just because he'd have been a more friendlier contract to kind of pair with the Schroeder, because they wouldn't have to take Westbrook's massive contract. But I think that when Schroeder said he was walking, I was like, okay, we need to get Westbrook. Let's go get Westbrook. We need a point guard.
And now, guys, thinking about kind of we talked about winners and losers of the off season, and we talked about kind of what's going to happen with Kyrie. But we do want to do some quick takes on just what we expect from an award perspective this year in the NBA. And so we're going to give you guys our MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to get it started. I'm going MVP, James Harden. We talked a lot about Kyrie not being there. James Harden gets assists. He does it all on the court, puts up big numbers, and I think his points per game will go up without Kyrie. Rookie of the Year, Jalen Suggs in Orlando. I think it's going to be his team. He looked very NBA ready at Gonzaga, averaging about 14 points with 5 and 5 and 2 steals, plays defense both sides of the court. I think he'll have an opportunity to do what it needs to done for the Rookie of the Year. And Defensive Player of the Year, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going Rudy Gobert. He won it last year, I know. He won, and then he won it. Giannis won it before that, but before that, he won it 2 years. And I looked at the history of the Defensive Player of the Year. One player usually holds it down for 4 or 5 years, and so I'm sticking with Gobert.
All right. Go ahead, you can go first.
So I'm going for my MVP. I'm going with just Giannis. He has a lot of eyes on him coming off this recent championship. He's going to be asked to do a lot. I think he will do a lot. I think he will play a lot as well. And just that mentality going 100% every single rep. Rookie of the Year, going first overall pick, Cade. Once again, same thing. He's going to be asked to do a lot, facilitate for everybody, and he's going to have those keys. And then Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going Anthony Davis. I think he's definitely going to have to start off early and dominate from the jump, but just with the Lakers, I don't think they have too many sit down in a chair perimeter defenders, so he's going to have to clean up a lot on that back end.
Right. All right, for my awards, I got MVP KD. Obviously, piggybacking off Ty's point, no Kyrie. KD's only won one MVP in his career, actually, too. So I think he's honestly kind of due for that second MVP. ESPN is a lot of voters coming out saying he's the best player in the world now. So I think he's kind of doing it. I think he'll play a lot more than he did last year. I think Brooklyn was a little precautious, just him coming off the injury. Defensive Player of the Year, I got Kentucky faithful, Bam out of the bio. He finished 4th last year. I think he's one of the best one of the best defenders out there. Can guard 1 through 5 like it's nothing. Honestly, I was leaning more a little toward Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons with this whole thing, I don't know what his playing what that status kind of looks like. So I went with Bam. And then for Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Jalen Green. Playing in the G League last year, I think he has the most professional experience so far. He has a pro-style game, and in Houston, obviously, he's the man out there. He already has the keys to the franchise, kind of put up the numbers that he needs to win that Rookie of the Year.
It'll be exciting.
Jalen and Kate. I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, me too.
And quickly, guys, we're going to 4 names. Which one of these players can make an all-star team first? Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball, De'Aaron Fox, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Let me start this one off just because I had my little TikTok video on this one. I found this one, but I'm gonna start off, as you guys know, if you haven't seen the video. I'm going with LaMelo Ball, man. I mean, he's the most popular out of those 4, and fan voting obviously has a piece of making the All-Star team at the end of the day. So I think that'll help. I think him being in the East helps a lot because, look at the West, there's just so many guards out there. It's tough to kind of make that all-star team. They have very good guards getting snubbed every year in the West. Like even Devin Booker was on the lighter end last year making that team. So the West is tough. And just to piggyback off the East point, there are 2 to 3 vacant spots right now. I see, last year the East All-Stars for guard perspective were Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Ben Simmons. Right off the bat, Kyrie might not play at all this season, and Ben Simmons, we don't know what his status looks like. So right there off the bat, that's 2 spots that have opened up for him. And Jaylen Brown is kind of a borderline. If LaMelo Ball has a good, points and assists type of year, and the Hornets are rolling, I could very much see him getting the vote over Jaylen Brown too. So I think he'll make his first All-Star team this year.
That was a great point. I'm gonna go on the West Coast. I'm gonna go Shai. Coming off 24 points per game. I know that's D'Lo's guy, and then. I know this is kind of a silly point, but he signed his max contract with a Cartier pen.
No.
It might not mean nothing to you, but that means everything to me.
I respect that.
You can't sign a deal with a Cartier pen and not make the All-Star the next season. It's like a religion, So that's my pick for first All-Star appearance.
I'm going Mr. John Morant. John Morant, you know, same person that, you know, came out of a Murray State, you know, with, you know, kind of like just, he does it so much. I feel like great passer, scores the ball, a crazy good player to watch. And Memphis somehow finds themselves in that playoff conversation every year. And I think that always helps. Yup. And when we come to the fan vote and popular, I think Ja's really starting to grow his name and his brand in this league. Give me some John Morant. And, you know, give us some NBA basketball. We haven't even talked to you guys about our fantasy basketball league that we started up. And we're going to be talking a bunch about that on the podcast. But we're excited for the season. We hope you are. This is one of the best times to be a sports fan in general. You got WNBA finishing up. Stay tuned for some interviews around that. We got.
Hold on, real quick, just to piggyback off that. Brittany Griner's look dominant, but boy, the Sky and Candace Parker, they are rolling. They're up 2-1 right now, so I'm actually kind of interested.
It's happening too. We're basketball fanatics. We love basketball, and like you said, you know, we got hoops coming. We're in playoff football. Not playoff football, but regular season NFL playoff baseball coming. You know, it's just a great time to be a sports fan.
Sox are rolling right now.
Shout out the Red Sox. Shout out the Red Sox. You guys are going to see this after a lot has happened. Let's hope it all stays okay.
At this moment, they're tied 1-1. Hey, how much can you ask for?
So that just wraps up today's episode. Just remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a thumbs up. Comment. You know, we appreciate all the support from the Juice Crew family. Also, to make sure you follow all the socials on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at the.juicecrew. I'll say it one more time for you guys at the.juiceCrew. On Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, you'll see my guy D-Lo Ty. I'm even jumping in on the TikTok now.
Yes,
so,
sir. Yes, sir.
You know, if you're just looking for a laugh, I would definitely say check out the TikTok. And also, you can find the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and Google as well. Shout out to the Building 2 for sponsoring us. And
shout out Charlie.
You know I always got to say this stuff. Merch on the way. You see it. We're looking clean. It's going to come out shortly for you guys. I can't wait. That's tripped up. So,
I know you guys are eager, but it's coming. Trust me. We're moving as fast as we can on this process. We are working. It will be here soon. Don't worry, guys.
Got it. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Peace.
We out.
Peace.